My name is Anna Clarkson, and I'm here with Parenting Behind the Behavior. Today I want to talk about, is it okay for my kids to play with neighborhood kids? As I'm recording this, it is summer 2020. We are several months into a global pandemic. And as with many parenting questions or parenting situations, this question of, is it okay for my child to play with neighborhood kids, has not necessarily a clear cut and dried yes or no answer, but some gray area about what fits for your family and your neighborhood and your community and the families that you interact with. So I want to give you some tips, 4 ideas to think about as you're thinking about how you want to answer this question for your family. First, I want you to think about what is the top value for you as you're thinking about this question. So, is one of your top values that your child have someone to socialize with this summer who is not a family member? Is your top value that you want to protect elderly family members that you interact with, maybe grandparents or an immunocompromised loved one? Is your top priority that you want to build relationships in your neighborhood with neighbors and their children? So think about what your top priority is. And no matter what that priority is, that can help guide your decision in answering the question, is it okay for my kids to play with neighborhood kids? So let's say that you and your kids interact with an elderly relative. So it's important to include them in the conversation when you're answering the question of, can my kids play with neighborhood kids? But if your children are interacting with elderly relatives right now, then maybe as you think about your answer might still be yes, it's okay for my children to play, but they need to wear masks, and we only allow them to play outside doing like running or scooters or bikes, those kinds of things that naturally put some distance between kids. There won't be snack sharing or water bottles or close drawing together, those kinds of things that would make it harder for young children to physically distance. If your priority is that you want to build relationships in your neighborhood, then maybe your answer to the question is, sure, we're going to figure out who 1 or 2 families are in our neighborhood who share our values and who we can have kind of a kids club together with. And so we know that we are all following similar practices around keeping our families safe, and we're going to let our kids play without any restrictions except that they have to only play with each other, the kids that are part of those 2 or 3 families. So that's what I mean when, first of all, think about your top value. And then talk to the people involved, whether it's elderly relatives who might be exposed because of your kids' exposure, or whether it's people in the neighborhood. Then think about involving your kids in deciding on how to meet that top value. So you share your value. You say, it's really important to me that we protect grandma and grandpa. How do you think you can still play with your friend and protect grandma and grandpa? And even a 4 or 5-year-old can come up with ideas like, I could wear my mask, or we could just do scooters together on the street. Finally, make sure to talk to other parents so that they understand why it is that your children are wearing masks, or why it is that you don't allow your children to play inside at their house. And then the other parents can help you reinforce the boundaries that you set with your children. And that is really just the last piece. So once you've done this work of identifying your value and setting up the guidelines with your children, and then talking to the other families, then just keep vigilant. Watch as your children interact with those children and help your children remember what the boundaries are. So if you see them taking their mask off, encourage them to put it up. If you have decided that a few families are allowed in your group and you see them playing with someone else, talk to the children about the fact that that's not allowed. And, maybe tell them they have to come inside and stop playing if that's something that they're going to do. These are complicated decisions, and I wish you well as you think through the choices that are the best fit for your family and your neighborhood and your community. Take care.